Hi, in this lecture we are going to see about how we can store a group of data. Right? For that we will take a small variation of the problem what we discussed in the previous lecture. Already we have discussed a problem where you have to find the class average. Right? Now I give a variation of the problem. You have to find the marks that are greater than the class average. Right? What is the difference between that problem and this problem is? There we need not store the marks, we didn't store it. What we were doing was we were just reading it from the user and then adding it to the sum variable. We had a variable sum which was accumulating the summation of the data that is received till now. So what we were doing was we were just adding it to the sum variable and we were proceeding. We never stored the marks because we didn't require it. But in this problem you have to print the marks which are greater than the class average. So we have to come and look back after finding the average. You have to come and look back each and individual mark, each and every individual mark. So we have to store it. So what are the ways that we can do? We can provide one variable for each of the mark, that is also possible. But when you look at it, for example, in a class there are totally 30 students or 40 students. We do not know how many students are going to be there when this application is or when this program is going to be executed. Even if you assume or if you are going to restrict like 30 to 40, you should have 30 different variable or 40 different variable, which is very difficult. So how it is done in C is, C provides something called as arrays. Okay, so arrays is a wonderful type of representing a group of data. The restriction imposed by C is it can only store the same type of data. Either it can store all integers, all floating point values, or all characters and so on. It is like you are going to have a row house where each of the house will be similar. Okay, you cannot have variations in that, but you can have any number of houses. It is like a row house which is going to be on a straight line. So I can also say this as homogeneous type of data is going to be stored in arrays. And how will we do is, the syntax is, this is how you will do declaration in C. You have to say the data type and then a space and then you have to give the name for the array as we give name for the variables. Array is also a variable only basically. Okay, and then you have to specify size, maximum how many data can be stored. Generally when we declare a array, we give size more than the number of elements that can be stored. It is like if you are going to book a room for your friend. Okay, he is coming with his family for a visit to your place. You are going to book a room. Then you do not know exactly how many members will be coming, but you know that there are totally some 10 family members are there. Then you will go for a room of size 10 or more where 10 people or more can stay. Okay, even lesser number of people comes, no problem, but you can just leave the extra space available, but you do not want to give a shorter room for your friend. In a similar way, here also you have to specify the size. Okay, so when I say int, this is the syntax I am using for storing declaring an integer array. So int space and then the name of the array here is A. These square brackets are very important in array. So within the square bracket you mention the size. Here I have given as 30. So there are going to be 30 individual chunks. Okay, you can see it will look like this. I can show you. Okay, here I am showing for a size of 5. Int A of 5 means you are declaring a array A of size 5. So you will be given 5 small chunks. Each chunk will be of size equal to 4 because for one integer it is going to allocate 4 bytes. So totally you will have 20 bytes, 4 into 5, but they will be like individual chunk and each chunk will be referred by an index. So you can see that this particular memory space will be 0 and the next memory space is 1 and so on, and none of the memory is getting initialized in C language. Some garbage value will be there. So if you want to do some operations specifically as we did summation in the previous example, if you want to do some operations then you may have to initialize it. In other cases it is not required to initialize. You can just read and assign. For this example here I am just going to read the values and store it in that place. Okay, this is how array will look like, and after you store the values I will show you. So let us start coding. Okay, now we are going to write a code to print marks more than the class average. This is the general skeleton of the C program, and now we are going to have n. n is going to represent the number of students in the class, and I am going to have a variable I which is going to help me to iterate through. Next I am going to declare a floating point array for storing the marks. Let us assume that there will be maximum 30 students only in the class. So I am declaring an array of size 30, and I am going to have a variable sum to find the summation and average, right. Then what I am going to do is, first I am going to read the number of students in the class. Okay. So let me read it. When you look at the number of students, I am using the variable n, and it is of integer data type, so %d ampersand n, right. Then I have to loop through, right. I have to repeat this n times. I am going to read the value from the user. Marks is of type floating point value, and it is going to be stored in the array. How will you store it in the array is, you have to do it in the same way as we do it for a normal variable, ampersand followed by the name of the array, but you have to mention the index, because understand that it is a block of memory like this. In which block you are going to store, that you should mention. So when you are going to have n values, you will use the n blocks continuously. And also you want to find the sum. I want to do it here itself, and we already know that when you want to execute more than one statement in a loop, you have to use this curly braces. Now I am going to say sum equal to sum plus marks of I. Sum equal to sum plus marks of I. So when this loop is getting over, you will have the total value in the sum, and I am going to say average equal to sum by n, right. After finding the average, what should I do is, I should again find out the marks which are greater than the average. So again iterate through the marks array. If I am going to say if marks of I is greater than average, then I am going to print it. I am going to print the marks, and it is of floating point value. So let me give %f and then marks of I. Is it clear? And actually you can see here, this for is executing only one statement, if. So this is part of if. If you have any difficulty in looking at this, it is better to put a brace. Okay. Actually it is only one statement. If is a single statement, the condition followed by the statement which has to be executed if the condition is satisfied. If you don't feel comfortable, put a brace, that's not a problem, right. So this is how we can write a solution. Let me go to the terminal and show you. GCC. Okay, now I am going to execute. Okay, okay, I compared the wrong code. GCC max more average, right, and number of students is 5, and let me give the values whichever I gave here: 75, 43, 9, 104, 33. This is just for example, so don't bother about that 104. Okay, as soon as I give enter, the marks array will be looking like this. Okay, the index 0 will be having the first value entered, index 1 will be having the second value entered, and so on. It is finding the average and printing. Now we are finding the two marks, 75 and 104 are greater than the average. Okay, so hope things are clear. So how will you declare an array, and how can you read the values in array, right? It's similar, only thing is you have to use the index, and you put a loop for iterating through the blocks of the memory, and then you can also check here and so on, right. Next what we are going to do is, we can have arrays of characters also. Next problem what we are going to discuss is, we are going to find the largest character. So let us consider characters like this, 5 characters, Q, A, M, X, B. Actually in this the largest character is X, because this comes as the last thing in the alphabet. So this is what I mean in the problem. When you are given a set of characters, you are going to find the largest character. For this I am going to use character array and show you. I want to talk little more about characters here. We already know that memory is a sequence of bytes and each byte has its basic unit as bit. So what is bit is? Bit is binary digit which can store a 0 or a 1. Okay. Even when you are going to have numbers, let it be integers or real values, what is happening is a conversion process goes on, converting from the interpretation what we have to binary representation, that is taken care by the language. Okay, when you enter as 100 is converted to its binary representation and then only internally it is getting stored. What about characters? When I want to store Q or A, what is happening is we have something called as ASCII table, universally accepted thing, that is American Standard Code of Code for Information Interchange. This one gives some number, it is a mapping. Okay, it maps each of the characters, both printable as well as non-printable characters are mapped to a number. Okay, so this number, anyway, once it becomes a number, the same process of converting from decimal to binary happens and it is internally stored. Okay, so you can see that all the characters will be having some numbers. Capital letters are having numbers from 65 continuously up to 90, and from 97 the small letters have the value. Now in this problem what we are going to do is, I am going to find the largest character. Okay, so let me declare the required variables. I am going to have n for representing the number of characters, I for iterating through the variables. Now I am going to declare a character array. Okay, let us assume that maximum I will have only 10 character arrays. So I am just declaring ch equal to 10. Okay, and I am saying I am having another one character max. Okay, I will say what is the purpose of max as we proceed. Now I am going to read the number of characters from the user and store it in a variable n. Then you start reading the characters one by one. Now I want to read a characters, so the format string is %c, followed by ch is the name of the array, and then I have to give the index. When you are going to have a array, when you are going to read array, you should give the index also. I have to put a ampersand also before this. It is important because I am reading one of the character. Okay, and then what I am going to do is, I am going to initially assume that I am going to have this variable max for keeping track. Okay, so initially I will say max is equal to small a. Let us assume ideal case that the person who is going to use this program will give only lowercase letters, small letters as input. So I am saying max is equal to a, minimum possible value. Then I am going to compare with each of the value in the array. If it is greater than max, I am going to make max is equal to that value. What I say is, initially max is a. I will compare with the first value in the array. It is q. Q is greater than a, yes. So I will make max is equal to q. Okay, and next I will be comparing with the next element. Max is compared with a. Now max is q. Q is not greater than a is not greater than q, so nothing will happen. Move to the next index. Now max is compared with m. Max is q. Q is greater than m is greater than q. No, nothing will happen. Move next. Now max will be compared with x. X is greater than q. Yes. So max will become x. Okay. Next you move to the index 4. There is b. You will compare with max. Max is x. X is greater than b. So no change will happen and max will be x. Okay. This is the idea which I am going to use. So let me say for I am again iterating through the array. For I equal to 0, I less than I plus plus. What I am going to do is, if max is, or let me say if ch of I is greater than max, then I will change the value of max. Max is equal to ch of I. Okay, so this is fine actually, because this for contains only one statement to be executed, that is a if. Okay, followed by the part if you are not comfortable, braces are not required, but if you put also no problem. That's not going to create any issue, right? So you are going to iterate through the array and compare the max with the current value in the index. If it is greater, you are going to change the value of max. After coming out, you are going to print the value of max. Okay, max is, I'm going to print it as a character, so %c max. Let me go to the terminal and compile it. I forgot to put a comma here. Yeah, so totally 5 characters. Let me give the same characters Q, A, M, X, B. Okay, actually if I give a space or a new line character, GCC takes this at the end of the input. So I am giving continuously. When I am giving the format string as %c, it reads only one character at a time, so that's not a problem. Okay, you see that max is X. I want to show one more thing to show the importance of the format string. Instead of %c, if I am going to give %d in the print, what will happen? I have not changed anything else. Instead of %c in the print, I am going to give us %d. Now see what happens. Compile the code again, right? Q, A, M, X, B. Okay, if you see that 120 is getting printed. So what is 120 is, look at the ASCII table. Look at the ASCII table. What is 120 is, 120 is X. Okay, so in C language, format string is very, very important. If you are going to give, particularly for characters, okay, if you are going to give %c, then it will print the corresponding character. If you are going to give %d, then the corresponding ASCII value will get printed. In any data type also, if you are having a floating point value and giving %d, then you will see that different interpretation happens and so on. Okay, thank you.